great pleasure to be on this podium to welcome forward the steps that we have put in place in the past so that we can come to the actual content and the actual implementation of things that we have been working on. It will be very interesting for all of us to follow what we have in mind, what are the plans and what are the opportunities. And with this, I would like to invite the Vice President of the Government of Greece, His Excellency Mr. Theodoros Panteros, to the podium.
Welcome, dear colleague, Mr. Kamal, Minister of Finance of Qatar. Welcome, honorable guests. Ευχαριστώ πολύ τους Έλληνες προσκεκλημένους και εκπροσώπους διαφόρων επιχειρηματικών ομίλων και επιχειρήσεων. This is the second such meeting in the framework of making progress in our economic relations with the countries of the Arab Gulf. And this is because we sincerely believe that these countries play a major role in the world economy, not only in energy matters, but also because they have become major agents of investment projects and technological advance. The progress achieved by these countries and by their population in very few years is remarkable, and we feel very close to them for two reasons. First of all, because there is always this historical past of the close links with Arab nations and the Arab culture, which is long withstanding with our history, and also because we are also a young nation that has only 150 years of independent existence, and we can understand situations like those that might arise from rapid progress and the necessity of the societies and cultures to adapt to this progress. We have had a discussion this morning with my colleague Mr. Kamal. We examined the international situation in the area and in the world, the situation in the financial markets, the situation of the global economy, and also we discussed about concrete investments and perspectives that might interest both countries. Contacts exist already, and we have already a past. It is not always devoid of problems, misunderstandings, and complications. I must confess that our side is responsible for part of them, maybe the major part of them, but these are not of nature that will stop our further cooperation, and we think that all the perspectives we have envisaged can be continued and strengthened by the discussions we have had. I wish you also success in the meeting you're going to have after lunch. I'm very sorry, my colleague Mr. Kamal is a very busy man. He is traveling from Brunei to Athens and then back to the Gulf. And the only advice I want to give him, because I have been for 17 years a foreign minister, don't always follow the advices of people that send you on long trips from south to north and from west to east, because maybe they want to take your place. It's the best way to get rid of your minister is to make him travel a lot and very fast and put him under pressure. So I wish you the best continuation and thank you very much for listening.
His Excellency Mr. Youssef Hussein Kamal, the Minister of Finance, you can take a little stand if you prefer, Minister Richard.
Good afternoon to everyone, Your Excellency. First, let me, on behalf of myself and colleagues, to thank you for warm welcome and hospitalities. I like actually the advisors, not always, sometimes, and like the people that they have a challenge and they can get my seat. Actually, it is good that we are going to speak in English, so we will save time. At the same time, the speech that somebody wrote it for me to deliver it today, I found that it is in Arabic. As Your Excellency mentioned, we have a good relation, political and historical. The only thing I think we are here today to talk about it is about the relation in the economic side. And unfortunately, when I was reading about the trade between Qatar and your country, I cannot mention the numbers because it is, I think, less than $30 million, which is, I think, it is not a figure that both of us we are looking for. But let me tell the audience about the economy of the state of Qatar. As you know, the size of economy of the state of Qatar is exactly 50% of size of economy of Greece, but the per capita is 3 times of Europe. Secondly, in 16 years since His Highness Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa took over the role in Qatar, we've been growing 16 times. 16 years, 16 times. Now, what is the opportunities in Qatar? As you know that we won the, is it Olympic game or it's World Cup actually for year 2022. This has been, we have 11 years from today to prepare for that games. Taking that in consideration, the allocations of budget for infrastructure is about $120 billion to be spent within the coming 10 to 11 years. And if I add to that figures what goes for the oil and gas, there is another $30 billion to be spent on the oil and gas investment. So we are talking about a total of $140 to $150 billion to be spent in the coming 12 years. This has means that there is a lot of opportunities for all of you. It's not only from the Greece, but we think for the whole the world that they can come and participate in this program. Secondly, I want also to explain to you what is our strategy, what it was, and what it will be in the future. We have a hand with 5 fingers. If I go back 10 years ago, we had only this one, which is the reserve of oil and gas. No capital, no management, no know-how, no market. Then we thought, what we have to do? We have this, we have to bring who has the knowledge or who has the management. So we had a participation of companies that they are capable in the management. Then we had to find the market for what we are going to produce. So we are looking for buyers that he is bankable and he can pay for what he is going to have. So if you have this and this and this, then it is easy to go to the banks and tell them that I have these projects, I have this buyer, and I have this management and know-how, please lend us the money. So this is exactly what we did in the first 6 years since 1995 up to year 2001. And then we said, okay, now we finish all this. We have the resources, we have the capital, we have the management, or part of it, but still we are looking for know-how, and the market is easy if you have a product that you can sell it to the others, which is including yourself. You are a market for our energy. Last year we delivered the first ship in May of LNG to your country. But this is not the end. We are thinking about the futures. We know that one day the oil and gas is not anymore will be. One day it will deplete. And today our economy depends 62% in oil and gas, which is, we think, this is not a healthy economy. The healthy economy, and I just give you an example. United States, they are 5% of total population of the world, but the contribution of their economy to the total economy of the world is 30%. Again, their economy depends on the brain of the people 30%. So we have to be exactly same, because the oil and gas doesn't remain, so I have to invest what I have today in three things. One, education. Second, health of the people. Third, I have to think about the capital for being a catalyst of my economy in the future. In education, maybe you heard what we are doing in the education sector. We have the education city. We have the campuses of universities, especially from United States. We have Texas A&M in engineering, while Cornell in medicines, and Carnegie Mellon business, and we have other like Georgetown and Export University. All of them, they've have the campuses in the education city. We know that it's too expensive to pay for education. And I will give you example. Some sector of our educations cost us $1 million per student. But still we think it's worth to spend that money. If we go back 127 years and we take one of the universities in the United States, I think these people, when they initiated that university, they didn't thought about the cost. They thought about the future. That is what we are doing actually. Second, health. This is also important. If you don't have healthy people, you cannot generate a good economy. Then, how we do in our extra surpluses that we have, how we invest these. I think in the breakfast this morning I said that we have benchmark. We don't do any investment if the IRR is less than 15%, but it could be zero. Depends which type of investment we are going to do. It could be 15, it could be 5, it could be 3% if there is a transfer of knowledge. Because of knowledge, it has a price, and we have to pay for it. So I can do investment purely related to yield, or I can do investment related to transfer of technology and knowledge, or investment that will add to growth of the economy of the state of Qatar. So we have these actually categories that we take in our consideration. Then, of course, I don't want to go through the geographical allocations, currency allocations, all these things. I think it is known to all of you. Environment, you can have the license in 24 hours to establish your company. Partnership, in most of the sectors, foreigners, they can own 100%, especially in education, health, agriculture, tourism. Some of the sector of the services, you can own 100% ownership, foreign ownership. Tax, we have a flat tax, 10%. We give you 3 years of carrying losses, if there is, and I hope there is no losses for anyone who comes to Qatar. Thirdly, about lands, we are already in progress, which is we are constructing the biggest jetty maybe in our region or in the world for 6 million containers per annum to be delivered. This is linked to an area of almost 80 square kilometers of land as what we call it the economic zone. It is not a free zone because we don't believe in free zone. We believe that there is economic zone which has the whole infrastructure from gas, electricity, water, logistic, and it will be ready within the coming 15 years. We have the Science and Technology Park. This is again a part of Qatar Foundation, and we take this as research and development for how we do these things. Again, for either there is the research which is coming from the campuses that we have in Qatar, or someone from outside, he has an ideas, or he did research, not completed, but he wants to do the completion, then he can come to us. We help them to complete this kind of research. Thirdly, there is a research that's being done. The only thing you have to do the commercialization. Then we can take it with you. And fourth, we have the seed fund to establish any company lead in the end to taking the research from outside and make it possible to be commercialized. I don't want to take more of your time, but I will be ready, I think, to give you a chance, maybe from what I said, I didn't capture what you have in your mind of questions, so I actually give you the floor to ask questions, and I will be ready to answer it. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I think, first of all, I would like to underline your honesty in saying that your speech was written in Arabic, because if you hadn't said it, nobody would have noticed. Do we have any questions for the Minister of Finance of Qatar?
That's good. This is mean that I did my job well. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Well, I think that this is one of the refreshing things whenever I hear you speaking, that there is this business sense and squarely speaking about the things. And I believe that from my experience during my tenure with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Greece, that's one thing I learned about Qatar, that Qatar speaks the language of efficiency and of feasibility of things, and this is what we have to deliver. Now, with this, I would like to invite my colleague and good friend, Dimitris Dolis, the Deputy Foreign Minister of Greece, to take the floor.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Once more, welcome. We had the opportunity to welcome you yesterday afternoon, and we do hope that that very short stay in the city of Athens, that wonderful country, Greece, is an enjoyable one for you and your delegation. Κύριε Αντιπρόεδρε, κυρίες και κύριοι, καλώς ήρθατε σε αυτό το πολύ σπουδαίο, σοβαρό και ιδιαίτερα σε αυτή την οικονομική συγκυρία συνέδριο το οποίο I'll come back into English. I'll come back into English. Το οποίο έχει οργανωθεί. Your Excellency, it becomes very difficult after such two very important speeches to try and cover the remainder of the subject. So it remains for me to be very short and try to be slightly witty, to which I don't think I will manage. But the reality is that the political relations between our two countries are better than excellent. They're also very promising. The fact that His Excellency, the Sheikh of Qatar, came and met with our Prime Minister, the fact that you're here, the fact that we have continuous back and forth meetings indicate one thing, that you are a major economy in the Gulf region. You're also a major political player in a region that a lot of things have been happening. The events of North Africa can teach us a lot of things about stability and how to move forward into the future. And stability in the Middle East is of paramount importance. And in that regard, we thank Qatar and we thank your government for the role that it has played in the last few years and the role that it will be playing into the future. As for us, we are a country that is going through incredible difficulties. It's going through incredible difficulties because our economy is restructuring. The fundamentals are being reshaped, and we hope to be able to take our place in the world for what we are, a country of opportunity, a country that is blessed, a country that has people with dynamism, and it can take the next step. Because at times of crisis, there is always an opportunity. And this opportunity is what your government and we are looking forward. We believe that the developments that will take place into the next few years with an international economy reshaping itself, with the economic and monetary system trying to find ways out, with energy resources depleting but new energy resources being discovered, there is a lot to be done. The fact that Mr. Pangalos is in charge of this relationship indicates the importance that the Greek government is putting in both our efforts. The fact that you are here, together with your dynamic team, it means that there is prospects for the future. And as for us, we may have made some mistakes in the past, but we're looking into the future with incredible confidence. We've got a generation that is coming out, being educated not only nationally but internationally, with dynamic minds that will take their place into the Greek society and into the international economy and drive this country forward. We thank you for being here, and we hope that this is not just the middle of a relationship, but a long, long political, economic, and friendship between your country and ours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. Your Excellency, I was thinking while I was hearing Dimitri Doli speak that one thing that our two countries have in common is that we both have sand. In your case, in sand, you had the treasure of petrol. In our case, we have tourism. And this is why I want to invite the Deputy Minister for Tourism, Mr. Yoros Nikitiadis, a good friend, to speak about tourism.
Thank you, Spiros. Your Excellencies, dear friends, you will allow me a few more minutes than the speakers before. It is a great honor for me to address you, to welcome you in our country, and to seek to describe the existing opportunities of investing in the tourism sector of Greece. Tourism has proven to be a very stable product worldwide, and it has suffered but stand all the way with avoiding all the crises. It is no coincidence that each year tourists around the world grow at rates approaching almost 6% worldwide. The fact that tourism is a fixed component in the economy is clearly shown in our country, Greece, which is a great example of that. In Greece, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, in 2010, despite the outbreak of the great economic crisis, we managed to have the same number of tourists as the previous year, 2009, even though there was a distortion of our country's image throughout all media worldwide. While the crisis was still going on, the 2011 year proved to be the best year ever, with increases that exceeded 10% in both arrivals and revenues. And my position allows me to predict that this year again will be a year with increase on the revenues and arrivals. Tourism is a core economic sector which accounts for 18% of Greece's GDP, employs more than 800,000 people, and is the leading source of the country's invisible receipts. Yet, Greece, up to now, has primarily based its tourism image on the traditional sun, sea, sand model, and has taken advantage of only few of the potential tourism resources available in this small but unique, allow me to say, country. As you're aware, the economic crisis did create a difficult environment for the Greek population, and the measures taken as a result of the memorandum with the Troika, the European Union, the IMF, and the European Central Bank have indeed put a strain on the Greek population. However, the tourism sector in Greece responded admirably to the challenges of the economic crisis. Tourism professionals have been collaborating hand in hand with the government in order to create a positive image for Greece despite the adversities, in order to offer quality products and services, and in order not to only maintain but to increase the millions of satisfied international tourists. And all this has put into place a new framework for development of Greek tourism in the next decade. Last year's success, though, did not happen just by chance. It came as a result of successful implementation of a series of actions and strategies by the government and by the private sector, and will continue based on a new 10-year strategy which targets the attraction and of investments and the expansion of the client markets. Allow me to just identify some examples. The expansion of the tourist season to 12 months, the quality improvement of accommodation and other tourism facilities, the increased awareness on green practices and the implementation of relevant improvements, the emphasis of promotion campaign on the tourist's experience instead of the tourist product, the development of special interest tourism, among which cruise tourism, conference tourism, religious tourism, yachting, and other forms, the establishment of two special programs for the city of Athens and Salonika, the Athens Every Week program and the Thessaloniki Crossroads of Civilizations program. These strategic directions give rise to varied investment opportunities in tourism. Let me mention a few. Conference and congress centers. Greece's unique combination of geographical accessibility, spectacular locations, and multiple attractions makes it an ideal conference and congress destination. Golf. The potential for golf to grow significantly is well documented. Opportunities and plans exist in Athens, Corfu, Rhodes, Messina, Chalkidiki, Kos, Crete, and other locations. Just think that while we have about 8 18-hole courses, Spain has more than 350 and Portugal more than 80. Thermal resorts, spas, and thalassotherapy centers, more than 700 thermal springs are identified, and about 100 have tourism development potential with therapeutic value. Some have been known thermal resorts from the 19th century. Marinas and other anchorage facilities. Greece is a unique maritime country. We have 16,000 kilometers of coastline, and we have 190,000 beaches. 109,000 beaches making Greece a natural destination for yachting and sailing. In this context, Greece has a need for few and upgraded marinas, including marinas for mega yachts. Integrated resorts. This has been a prime development in the area of Messina, of Costa Navarino, the best example. Special interest tourism. Greece has abundant resources which can provide a basis for a wide spectrum of special interest, alternative tourism opportunities, including theme parks and others. Just think, I'm going to proceed to the end. Yes, I'm concluding. I'm concluding right now. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, and I will close with a beautiful example that you have mentioned it with the hand with the 5 fingers to say that it happens in Greece. We have the culture, we have the beauties, we have the history, we have the surrounding, we need the capital and the investment. Into this direction we would like to welcome you. Thank you very much.